I know everybody's screaming for more videos, so I guess we'll go ahead and do a little bit about this. I ordered these on eBay. I bought 14 NES front loader motherboards not working. And the only reason I bought them was because of the price. They were $12 a piece. And with shipping, they were only $13 a piece. I was like, I mean, you know, for a couple $100, I could salvage CPU and PPU out of these, and if, you know, half or more of them work, it's well worth it. But this is kind of the opposite of the packing fail rant. This is very well packed. My only complaint is, and this is like a new thing I've seen in the last few years, and I've probably mentioned this before, but people want to wrap stuff in bubble wrap and then wrap it again almost entirely with packing tape, the clear packing tape. And normally I'd be like, whatever, but the problem is the bubble wrap they're using is this flimsy, crappy stuff, and it just tears real easy, and the packing tape sticks to it so hard, if you try to get the packing tape off, you're going to tear the bubble wrap, and then you can't reuse it, which is just environmentally unfriendly. You know, I'd like to reuse the packing tape, or the bubble wrap if I could. Sometimes you get lucky. Looks like I got the not the bubble side of the bubble wrap. The bubble side tears way easier. But then there's like with so much tape on here, you don't even know where to start. Yeah, these are actually coming off really well. This is usually not the case. Usually it's just this huge struggle. Can't see it. Can't see where to start. Aggravating. It just takes forever. You know, why not gift tape? Just a little 3/4 inch wide Scotch tape, gift tape. That'll hold it together just fine. And you almost see where it's not enough bubble wrap and so much tape that it's actually like crushing the bubble wrap so much that it no longer has any padding effect. That's good. I can reuse all of that bubble wrap. Right on. And as far as I can tell, every board that I could see in the picture anyway was complete. None of the chips had been removed. Hopefully we'll get lucky. I'm guessing we'll see some main cap failures. Probably, if any of them are not working, you might see some CPU, PPU failures too. But I'll get all these unwrapped, and then maybe we'll take a look and see what's working and what isn't. You know, because as usual, buy it not working and then hook it up correctly, and it actually works fine. Like for instance, big thing with Nintendos is they have rectifier, bridge rectifier, and all this stuff in the power circuitry, so you can feed it DC or AC. Well, if the main cap fails, you might still be able to get it to work by feeding it DC. You know, and if the bridge rectifier fails, same thing. You could actually possibly feed this DC instead of AC, and it works. And that way you know it's just a power circuitry failure. And I think it was the bridge rectifier. That doesn't sound right. If the bridge rectifier is bad, feeding it DC should make it work. But it seems like maybe if it was the cap, feeding it DC might actually make it work. I can't remember. There was one scenario where feeding it DC, it did not work. And I want to say it was the bridge rectifier, because I sent one to, what was that country? Slovakia or some Eastern European country. And I think this was way back in the NSRGB days. I sold the guy a modded console, a top loader, I believe. And I sent him one of them cheap Chinese power supplies. Switching power supply, DC output, and got all the way to him, and it didn't work because I was testing with AC and I never tested it with DC, and I sent him a DC supply. Got it back, changed the rectifier, and it worked. So lesson learned there. You know, test with both AC and DC just so you can be sure your rectifier cap and everything's okay. So yeah, that sucked. I was trying to watch for domed caps, none. I was looking for missing chips. Every one of them seems to have all the chips. I was also looking for rare motherboard revs, NES CPU 10, probably the most common one. I say I had 7, 8, 9, 10, 11s, so nothing earlier than that. It also occurred to me that these were probably pre-wrapped for shipping, since they knew they were selling them individually, which they were. It was, you could buy as many as you want. Why bought them all? So they probably had them wrapped before they even put up the auction. So that's why I just threw them in a box and sent them to me. That makes sense. But also, I don't know if you can tell, because I'm going to speed that last part up, but there was a few of them, maybe 4 or 5 of them, that were double wrapped. Like they decided they didn't have enough bubble wrap and tape on there, so they put another layer of bubble wrap and tape on it. I'm like, oh my God. Aggravating. Okay, so let's start plugging them in and see what's up. Alright, so one good thing to come out of this video is I was forced to come up with a new way to test front loader boards because I don't have any blinking light ones. I've sold all the ones that I had, and they're always sold out, and just haven't bought any more. But I thought, you know, I've got repro-x PCB sitting around. I can just solder a connector to it and then just stick it onto the back of the NES motherboard, just upside down. And I thought, well, let's take it one step further. Solder 2 connectors together. That way I can just plug in a repro PCB and plug that in to the back of the NES board. Like that. Quick and easy. That's what I like. I guess I don't really need to hear audio from both sources, just as long as I can hear it. I mean, boom, we've already got one working. I think we got some, yeah, a little bit of a bad connection. That's one thing I do need to do, is to clean all of the 72-pin fingers on the motherboards. Looks like a lot of these already been scratched up trying to clean them, which is not good. But what happened? Did I move it? Or is it messing up on its own? The problem is these connectors are the old DigiKey connectors, and they're not quite the right pitch. These are 0.1 inch, and they actually need to be 2.5 millimeter for it to be correct. Yeah, I might actually have a bad video RAM going on here. Let me think about this. I was trying to make an NROM cart. Somebody sent me a modified .NES file, a program that would just automatically test just the RAM. Just plug in the cart, blue screen or red screen, and you knew something was messed up. Never got that to work, and I don't remember where I left off with that. That's been a few months ago. But I could still use test ROM, possibly. That looks okay. Yeah. Ah, they both pass. Well, that's weird. The object moves, but the sprite itself is messed up. I've never seen that before. Huh. That is really weird. Interesting. Still makes me wonder if it's just a connection problem on that 72 pin though. Anyway, through these real quick. Alright, so this has been a really good lot. I have nine that work without issue, other than one of them has bad RF output, and who cares about RF output? If I should have said this in the beginning, but the main reason I bought these was to salvage CPU and PPU. So I'm not truly worried about really scratching up these fingers. They're already scratched up anyway, but if scratching them up more gives a good contact, then who cares? Because really what I'm going to do with these is put the CPU and PPU into a top loader, which is a rare, more valuable console. And I've got a ton of them that need CPU, PPU, and possibly RAM chips too. And I can't find those RAM chips, especially the skinny ones. And you do find them a lot in the front loader. I think it was Jameco or something like that. I had bought some, and I think the speed was wrong. And they just did not work. You know, it was supposed to be the exact same memory size or whatever, but just the wrong speed, and it just would not work in the top loader. Or it was like, I think it was like maybe 1 or 2 out of 10 worked, and I think that was the only ones I could find, and I bought them out, and who knows? And you could probably find them on AliExpress or what's the other site? Something Source, Unisource, whatever. So I found another one with the bad sprite issue. I didn't write it down on the first one, but the second one, I did check the 5 volts and it was okay. I'm thinking that's just a connection issue more than anything. But this one looks really clean. Let's see. I got 2 that will not boot. They're black screen, and one of them I got some, looks like yellow paint on that cap, which these are Rubicons and they hardly ever go bad. And it's just the 50 volt 1 microfarad cap right there to the right of the PPU. So I don't think that cap exploded or leaked or anything. I think somebody just put some yellow paint on it, like I checked this board out or something. It's a Rev 8 board. top's not looking so hot, and there's a lot of corrosion right up in there. It looks really bad, but the bottom looks pretty clean. And then I had one that was just solid color, which, if I remember right, is a bad PPU, maybe possibly bad CPU. But this one is rough. I mean, it's got what looks to me, or reminds me of dead bug guts all over the top. I don't know if that's going to come out very well on the camera, but it's rough shape. The fingers have been sanded quite a bit, both sides. The bottom's got some rough areas too. I see some chipped legs with some corrosion on it, or some dead bug guts on the shielding just about everywhere. So, not much hope for that one. I think that one's just going to go straight towards pulling the CPU and PPU and testing them instead of trying to fix this. Like I said, I'm not really worried about fixing any of these because a lot of them I wouldn't even put into another console just because they've sanded on the fingers or whatever. Which makes me wonder, pretty sure this is a Hazel finish, which is hot air surface leveling. I wonder if you could actually try to sand off the corrosion and then put some flux and solder on it and try to hot air surface level it again and make them decent again, but it might just be too much trouble. Especially on ones like this, there's just got bug guts all over it. I wouldn't even try to rescue that thing at all. So I don't know. Like this one's a no boot, but it is very clean. It does not look like the fingers have had too much of any kind of sanding on them. The top does show a little bit, but the bottom actually doesn't. And these both had 5-volt checked and it was good. Could be bad CPU again. I was also trying to work out a way to attach a clip to certain chips, like CPU, PPU, and RAM chips, to test them without removing them. But then I got to the problem, it's like, well, how do I power it? If I power it through the clip, then that clip is going to be powering all the other stuff on there, and I was like, I don't really want to do that, so I might still just stick with desoldering them and putting into the test console. So I might do that on a couple of these. Okay, so I remembered I had another stack of boards that I hadn't really tested to see what was wrong with them, to troubleshoot it at all. I just kind of shoved them off to the side, and I don't know if these were one lot or if I just bought them here and there. Or I don't remember where they're from. So I had one that had no RF box on it at all, and one boots to black screen. 5-volt was okay. This one I thought was pretty cool. You get this weird image, and I'm almost immediately like, oh, the power cap, you know, because it does weird stuff like this, but it's not. I do have 5 volts, 5.017. And then I sat there and I was messing with it. I was able to go through the testing, and you could see clearly where it said working video RAM pass. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's there. And then I thought, you know what, maybe the caps for the video and RF out are just really bad because I'm getting some color up there. So I took the composite connector off, left the audio one plugged in so I had ground for that one, and I went straight to pin 21 of the PPU. Look at that. That's perfect. It's dark because it's not amplified, but the video is not jumping around, it's not black and white, it's perfect, it's just dark. I can even see the green even though my PVM is completely messed up. So I would say this one is a pass, other than I just need to mark it as check the composite and RF capacitor. Let's see. Yeah, the shield's gone, so I don't know. It's an Alps. It was just Alps and Mitsumi that made these, I think. Oh, yikes. Let's see, this is a Rev 5 mainboard. I'm actually starting to think that I have not seen this one before, because there is a electrolytic capacitor way in this corner. I'll have to look at my install guides for replacing capacitors on these, because, man, I don't know how you would get to that one at all. That thing is way back there. That's probably the one for RF right here. And who knows? So, I mean, the fingers are in good shape. There's some corrosion up here. It's dirty. It'd be kind of cool if I'd kept track of how many different Rev this and that I had. Let's see. Bad composite. And RF caps. Okay, otherwise. So that one's going straight to the good pile. I mean, if I'm just going to salvage it for CPU, PPU, and RAM chips, you know, I mean, we could come back later and salvage it for controller connectors, the power reset button connector, hell, even the whole board, because it's not like the fingers are badly sanded or corroded or anything either. So I don't know. I don't really have any set plans yet. So settle down. Okay, this is the next one, and also somewhat interesting. Composite works fine, RF is crap. What's crazy is I opened it up, or peeled back the metal can a little bit, and I've got I don't even know how to call it, just a splooge going on in there. That'll show up. Hard not to get that overly bright. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if there was supposed to be I think there was supposed to be an inductor right there. Because isn't that glue normally? Let's see. Well, these don't have any black glue on them, but I'm gonna guess the inductor was just, I don't know. I'm actually seeing component identifiers for 2 inductors. It's like, were they both taken out of here? Man, that makes no sense. Yeah, this is a Mitsumi one. Rev 10. Oh Lord. Somebody's already tried to desolder some stuff down here. Well, I guess that would be the inductors. And what is that? That is just the shield. So I've got 4 empty holes and 1 desoldered leg, and it's just that RF shielding right there. So somebody actually took the inductors out of this. Why? Man, that is so interesting, so unusual. I mean, it's just senseless. you can buy new inductors, and if I'm remembering right, Keftra said that those inductors actually have to be set manually. Like you have a screwdriver to spread them apart so that you actually get a good signal on your screen. So why would you take them out of another console and mess with them? I'm sure they didn't stay together properly. Maybe they did, I don't know. Man, that is a weird one. Okay, very next one, and this is why I wanted a Nintendo program, a game ROM, a Nintendo ROM that just did video and work RAM. Because this, pretty sure, was it the second one was video or the second one was, it's almost got to be video RAM, otherwise we probably wouldn't see anything for work RAM. It would probably just be all messed up, but we do see something. So I'm guessing video RAM is a fail. It's funny, it says NIL, but anyway, it would normally say a red fail. I don't know why I ever thought that was a good test. Because if you think about it, if it's a fail, then you would get garbles like this. So why test both in the same screen? Anyway, this one seems obviously to be working. There's the object moving. Yep. Yeah. Everything else works, so probably just the video RAM. And just a quick check of traces. This is a pretty clean motherboard. I don't think it's corrosion or anything like that wrong with it. I think it's just chip failure. That's an easy one. Okay, I don't even know why I didn't check this first, but this one don't have a CPU and PPU. Should have been glaringly obvious. So that's a parts one. So let's see, the black screen. The black screen one I wanted to retest with the composite trick I was talking about earlier, where we just touch the composite end of the jack right on pin 21. So you can see we got no response on composite. I got nothing on the pin. Yep, and we do still have. And our voltage is low, 4.7, kind of bouncing around. So I would say likely we got a bad chip pulling that one down, but thought it was worth a shot. Well, I was going to do the composite trick with the no boot. This is the one that had the paint on the capacitor. Now all of a sudden it's working, so maybe just my janky connector right there was messing with it. I mean, RF is still terrible, but I'm not super worried about RF. And yeah, I'm on the right channel. Sometimes flipping the switch back and forth will fix it. Moving the RCA connector on the jack around will fix it. No luck here, and I don't really care because now I know the CPU and PPU are okay, and that's all in the RAM, and that's really all I care about with these. Next, found 5 more boards. And it does look like they all have all their chips. This one's missing the capacitor, main capacitor. Looks good otherwise. So I might put a cap in that before I test it. We can get the rest of these tested real quick. Alright, this one's another easy one. I got to the test screen and I'm getting a fail. I have to look at a good one and see which one's which. I can never remember which one's on top, video or work RAM. But you see me looking at the board with my eye loop because I see a scratch right there at the video RAM. So it's possible we actually have a severed trace right there, which is fine, I guess. It would be an easy repair, but again, I'm not trying to salvage these or put these into new consoles or new shells or anything, so I don't know. But I'm guessing that's why. I'm guessing the chip is fine, but one of the traces is severed right there around the video chip, the video RAM chip. And I will make a note of that. Alright, so last one was black screen, no response whatsoever. Kind of think maybe, well, I'm not sure. I get response on RF, but that just might be the voltage changes because it gets voltage directly, like the 13 or whatever, not 13, whatever unregulated voltage you send it actually goes off to the RF part. So now the question is, do you even want to watch me try to repair? I'm not even thinking about repairing them because I think I'm just going to salvage chips off of them. So do you want to watch me desolder chips and test the chips? I was trying to create a database of what chip was bad, causing what symptom, like black screen or solid color. And I think I started it, but I don't know what happened to it, and I'm not sure it was very definitive. Another thing I thought about doing is motherboards that the fingers were not sanded on. I thought about offering pre-socketed and pre-capped, recapped motherboards for like high-def NES install people that don't really want to do it themselves but don't really want to send it off. They could just swap out the main board, you know, and that's the worst part. If you can cut holes in plastic, then you can do the high-def NES install without desoldering chips. If I offered them pre-socketed. It was a thought. I don't know if it would go over very well, but I'm not sure how many of them I really have that don't have really bad contacts back there anyway. So I would say the jewel of this video was just finally getting around to making this thing, and you know, it's nothing. It really is nothing, but it's definitely strong enough and it works well. The only thing I miss about the blinking light win was it was a good standoff. You can just slide the games in the bottom. But I guess if you're swapping motherboards out to test them like I just did, then this actually was the better way to go. Anyway, I think I'm going to end the video here and not do any repair work just yet because the video's already gotten too long and I've got other stuff I got to go do right now. So we'll just keep this as a part 1 or troubleshooting video for the front loader boards. Hope you enjoyed it.